all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure to select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. Episode 73!
Woo!
We did it.
Woo! We made it. That's what we were waiting for, episode 73.
The big one, the big 7-3.
Yeah. Dude, this is a big one, man. We've got everybody on, except for Zach. We got a little replacement for him. Hey, how you doing tonight?
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh,
I'm good, man.
Comes right back with a question.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's
I see.
So what's your name, man?
Yes. My name's Snake.
Nice.
My name's Snake. It's Snake.
Oh.
This is Snake. My
Nice.
name's Snake.
Nice.
so we got Snake on tonight.
Snake.
He's it's
a little
Snake.
hint-
He's
a
a hell of
little
a
hint.
conversationalist.
Right, yeah. It's a little hint of what we watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And man, I'll tell you what, guys, we got a pretty long episode, so I don't think we should really screw around too much.
All right.
All right. Let's jump in.
I agree, yeah. Dive!
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion. So we continue our movie month,
the movie
does
month?
this really need a sub movie month? And again, we've got a movie which may or may not have a sub for a really long amount of time, but I'm going to guess it's probably a little longer than Jackie Chan's First Strike.
Yes.
But we can get into that later. Snake.
Yes.
What did we get to watch this week?
Good luck with that one.
Deep Throat.
Oh, no. It's not episode 69.
That is not
We
it.
watched Escape from L.A. We watched Escape from L.A.
That's right.
Use that one.
Thanks for joining us, Snake. All right, we'll use that one.
Yeah.
And cut, edit, use that one. Perfect. So the 1996 John Carpenter film starring the one, the only Kurt Russell with the flowing locks.
Truly.
Is it like a leather suit? I don't even know.
I think they invented that fabric for the movie. Yeah.
Well, it's very form-fitting, but he has a lot of range of motion.
True.
Able to do his Kurt Russell stuff. It also has Steve Buscemi in it. And
Is it Buscemi or is it Buscemi? Buscemi? Or Buscemi?
Alex is the expert on this.
I've always said Buscemi.
Buscemi, right?
Yeah, Steve
There you
Buscemi.
go.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think everyone calls him Buscemi. I think it's Buscemi.
Well. Wait, is this 98 or 96? My bad.
96.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have the one, the only
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell, and from Jackie Brown, Pam Grier.
She was great, but I will say that for
It was
the reviews.
really funny role. And Jamie, your boy,
The
the
Keech.
Keech. Stacy Keech. Keech and the gang. Loved him. He was actually looking good in this one. He got that flowing ponytail and like a scraggly beard. And he was he knew what was up with Snake too. He wasn't going to take no guff from no Snake Plissken. Get out of
No
here.
way, man.
Oh, hey, Snake.
Yes.
Is that it? Anyways. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Is there anything? Yeah, and directed by John Carpenter. Is there anything else we need to know about the film itself before we jump into like recapping it? Was there?
It is a sequel
It's a
to
sequel.
the
Oh,
movie.
Sure. Escape from New York. Did anyone else watch it before watching this film?
No.
Nope.
I didn't, and
Not-
I really wish I did.
Not before, but I'd seen it growing
Right.
up.
Yeah, it was interesting. I watched it. I had thought I had seen it. I'm pretty sure I hadn't seen the whole thing because I did not recall the ending of the first one very well. But I remember the beginning super well. And then it's actually very jarring to watch both of them back to back. And I'll kind of talk about that in reviewing it. And it's actually part of the trivia as well as to why it got kind of like middling reviews has something to do with the first movie, kind of.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's start right into it, man. And I'll tell you what, I don't even think we can set this up as good as the movie did. They
That's
have
true.
a really great intro that just tells you exactly what's going on.
In the late 20th century, hostile forces inside the United States grow strong. The city of Los Angeles is ravaged by crime and immorality. To protect and defend its citizens, the United States police force is formed. A presidential candidate predicts a millennium earthquake will destroy LA in divine retribution.
Like the mighty fist of God, Armageddon will descend upon the city of Los Angeles, the city of sin, the city of Gomorrah, the city of Sodom, and waters will arise and separate this sinful, sinful city from our country.
And sure enough, that really does happen.
It actually does happen. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Like what, a 9.5 magnitude earthquake?
Yeah. Hits in August of
rocks the coast
2000.
of California. Oh yeah, it is. What year was it in?
In 2000, because then it's I think it's in an election or upcoming on an election year.
Mhm.
So he ends up getting elected as a result of him kind of making this prediction and then it coming true, and he gets declared like president for life.
Those are some.
Oh yeah, they amend the Constitution, and then in a move that I don't even think we really needed, they're like, and the capital's been moved to Lynchburg, Virginia. We're
Right,
like,
his hometown.
okay, whatever, that happens.
I think they're just kind
but
of
now-
illustrating that he's like a totalitarian.
Yeah, he's
sort
super
of ruler.
powerful.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants, and everyone's kind of following him. And yeah, they turn LA into like a prison, more or less. A little bit different than New York and Escape from New York. In this case, it's more about like removing undesirables from the country. So the idea is like, even if you're an American citizen, you can be deemed immoral and irredeemable, and then you get your citizenship revoked and you're deported to LA, and you have to. That's where you live now, and you aren't allowed to leave.
And this is all going down. Well, flash forward. Now it's all going down in 2013. So I remember this, living through this. It was intense.
I mean, it is kind of crazy, some of the stuff that's going on in this film, and then having kind of the conversation that's occurring in America right now. And it's very strange to have this whole thing about deportation and stuff, and that just being such a big part of the news. 2013, it was not the case that we talked so much about this, but now we talk a lot about it.
Yeah, and then they were even like, there's a giant wall that separates the U.S. from L.A. We're like, all right, cool.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
So then we flash forward. Sorry, no, we're in 2013, and something bad is going down at L.A., and they need to bring in a convict. The U.S. government needs a convict who can get shit done.
Yeah, so basically, on the way back from somewhere, the president's daughter hijacks Air Force 3, which she's flying on, and takes it along with a doomsday weapon that was on Air Force 3 for some reason. A little confusing, but takes it and then sends out like a video being like, F all of you, like, America, revolt now. My dad's like totalitarian garbage person. I'm taking this thing. I'm going to LA, and, you better, rise up now or whatever. And she jumps into a little pod and crashes the plane into LA and kind of exits on the pod and into LA.
Yep.
And so they need someone to go after her. She's also apparently linked to this revolutionary named Cuervo Jones, who has like
a lot like Che. How do you say
right,
that?
Che Guevara. Yeah, and he's got kind of like a cult He was like a Peruvian revolutionary, and he's got like a cult kind of that follows him, and he runs a lot of stuff in LA at that point. And so she's heading there to like join up with him. So they're really concerned that obviously he's going to get this like doomsday machine because he's kind of a crazy person who will want to destroy America.
Dude, he is a little crazy. But they bring in somebody just a little bit crazier, and it is, who is it?
My name's Frank Yeager.
Oh.
My name's Roy Campbell.
What?
My name's Snake.
Nice.
It's Snake. This is Snake. Deep Throat.
So they bring in the one and only Snake Deep Throat, and he's looking good, man. He's got his hair flowing. He's got a sick eye patch and leather jacket. I
think you're even underselling just how good he looked, considering Kurt Russell at this point was, I think, he was 50 or something. No,
shit.
He was almost 50. He was 40, like 6 or 7 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, at the point that this movie was made. And he's looking
Never
trim.
would've guessed that.
Apparently he wore the same costume he did from the original, which was like 14 years before or something. Wore the same costume. Yeah, right? He's looking toy. He's looking toy as a toyga.
Yeah, and so basically the government lets him know because he's like, guys, why the fuck do you need me? He's like, I don't want to do this for you, and they kind of explain that shit went down.
We sent in a 5-man rescue team. Within a few hours of landing on the island, all but one of them was killed.
Hell of a team.
Skip the commentary, Plissken.
Snake. Call me Snake.
Snake.
Yeah, man. So he's, I don't know, man. He's got this credible personality throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, no, it's really, I think, better than the first one. The first one, I don't think he was as developed. And at this point, I think Kurt Russell had been thinking about Snake for like a decade at that point. And he had really put his all into this. And you can see how like he's totally out on the United States, completely cynical. He doesn't give a shit. He's clearly not going to help them. He doesn't want to help them. And that's not what he wants to do. So they had to trick him, which was kind of the same thing that happened in Escape from New York as well. And they trick him by, even on the way, before they even talk to him about it, they have someone come by and scratch him. And he's like, I'm not doing this. Get out of here. And they're like, well, you're already going to do it because you're dying right now. And he's like, what? And they're like, yeah. And then he remembers that someone scratched him. He's like, you got infected with a toxin.
A neurotoxin.
A neurotoxin called something. I'm actually forgetting exactly what it was called. Let me see.
Snake, do you remember what it was called?
No.
Oh, Plutoxin 7 virus. The Plutoxin 7 virus.
Okay. Plutoxin 7.
And apparently he's got 10 hours now. 10 hours before he totally dies. And he's deado. He just like goes up to heaven or hell.
Mm-hmm. And so then basically he's just like, all right, man, well, time to rock and roll. Let's do this. And they start outfitting him with all kinds of gear. He's getting his badass guns. He's got some heat-resistant clothing, which he's going to wear, which semi-important later. I mean, I wish it was more important, but it wasn't.
And they keep on, keep on kind of anticipating him a little bit. Like, he obviously has no desire to do any of this shit. So he keeps on like, right before he leaves even, he's like, are you the guys who's going to like cure me of the disease? And they're like, no. And he like goes to shoot them, but it turns out they're a hologram. And
no, he had blanks in the gun.
Oh, that's right. That one was blanks in the gun. Previously, it was a hologram that he went and attacked them. And so they use a hologram and they have blanks in the gun. They kind of are always anticipating that he's he doesn't give a shit about anyone and he'll just kill anyone he wants. And he's all about Snake and, it's his way or the highway or whatever. But they have to keep on tricking him and making sure that he kind of like does the job that they want him to do.
Dude, and did you notice when he was getting dressed, what's he have tattooed right across his stomach?
A cobra.
Yeah, talk about badass. But anyway, now they were like, we got to get you over to LA. And you know what? The only way we can get you there, Snake. What's the only way, man?
I got nothing.
Damn it.
I'm Snake. It's a submarine. My name is Snake.
Not so fast.
No, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry,
Slow
Snake.
your roll, Jamie. Don't step on Snake's toes, man.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, sorry about that. So anyways, he has a little mini submarine.
No problem.
It almost looks like a cigar boat. Like it's like a super fast mini sub. And he climbs on in there, and even while he's shimmying in there, his like snake pants kind of like shimmy on down, and his dick falls out. But he doesn't really care because he's in the submarine. He's the captain now, and like don't even worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
it is controlled with a joystick, isn't it?
And we're enjoying it as well, so we don't mind. And he's also got a cobra tattooed on his dick.
Oh wow!
Should I keep going?
Nope.
Okay.
You got time. You got time.
All right.
And so anyways, he's like super jazzed to get going in the submarine. They're like, take it easy. And he's like, have you met me? Do you know my name? It's Snake. And he off he goes, and he shoots off, and he just puts it, he redlines it like basically immediately. They're like, you're going to blow the engine. You're going to destroy your submarine. And he's like, I don't care. My name's Snake. And he goes like 1,000,000 miles per hour, gets to LA, jumps onto like a pier, gets out of the submarine.
Dude, well, yeah, the submarine launches out of the water.
Yeah.
Like just shoots right up.
And we should talk about how the fact that like this is 1996 and they have a bunch of CGI as he's like zooming around in a submarine that is not good.
I mean, we're 1 year away from Titanic.
It's the same year as Titanic was released, 1996, and it ain't good.
It came out in 97.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Really? It's that close?
I looked it up because I thought it was 96 too. It was 97.
All right, well, pie in my face. But anyways, the CGI is awful. There's like a shark at one point, and you're like, gross. Didn't look good. Why'd you do that? They're zooming around all kinds of like LA like landmarks, and you're like, this all looks stupid.
Street signs and crumbled highways, everything.
And the submarine shoots out of the water, lands on the pier. He immediately gets out, and then he's like a total dope. He's like sitting there as the submarine then just starts to fall off the pier, and then just falls into the ocean.
And he's like, well, fuck that. I guess I don't need that anymore.
So the first thing we see from Snake in this new sequel is him totally botching and like screwing up his submarine.
Yep.
Seems like kind of like an idiot. Yeah. Anyways, so he walks onto the beach, and who's there?
Dude, he is immediately confronted. There's guys swimming up on surfboards behind him, and then a dude with a gun. They're like, what are you doing on our beach? He's like, don't worry about it, just passing through, and then just easily walks away.
Yeah, and then one of the surfers kind of catches up to him, and it's played by Peter Fonda, and I couldn't believe this. He was not good. His acting was awful as like this really old, weird surfer guy. I didn't get it.
He's also a really big fan of Snake.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Nothing, dude. I just realized who you are, that's all.
That's all?
Come on, man. I'm not looking for trouble. You know, I used to see you a lot when I surfed the birds. See you on the police channel? You're pretty far out, Snake. I mean, cool. But I kind of thought you'd be
bad.
Taller.
Which way to the Hollywood Bowl?
Such terrible dialogue.
I can't believe it. It's Peter Fonda, who is like actually a well-respected, prominent actor, and it's just like awful. And it probably is partially the dialogue; it's just bad. But and then they really tried to shoehorn
far out, man.
Yeah, they tried to shoehorn in the joke of him. You know, it's the same thing of like, I thought you died in Cleveland. This time it's I thought you'd be taller, and that kind of comes up like 1,000,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I thought it was funny too how
he just kind of walks
Snake
away.
doesn't even give a shit. He's like, which way to the Hollywood Bowl?
I actually kind of that's one thing I did kind of like about it, which is that they kind of portray LA in a way where everyone's just kind of living, and yeah, there's gangs and stuff like that, but he just like kind of walks through a bunch of different spots of kind of being like ignoring people and just being like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And no one really cares. Like, yeah.
So he immediately finds his way into like red light district, and there's hooers all up and down the street.
Hooers?
Yeah. Hooers. And he goes into a bar, and there's a guy playing Throw the Knife in the Corpse, that classic bar game.
Oh, that's right.
Play.
And he was supposed to meet up with that guy. It's like his contact from the Keach. The Keach has given him a contact, and that guy's deado totally. And so
Snake doesn't want to play.
No.
He's like, fuck that, I'm not playing. And this guy gets mad and tries to confront him in the alley as Snake's walking away. But Snake is like cool as hell and just does he even look? He doesn't even look and just shoots the guy and drops
blows
him
away
right there in the street.
He's kind of heading to try to find Cuervo Jones, and that's his like main target or whatever. And he's kind of pointed in a general direction by one of the whores who tells him like, oh, someone I know is also looking for him, and went that way. And he's like, okay, and he heads off that way. At this point, does this where he meets? No, Eddie of the Stars or whatever. They meet him later.
Not yet.
So then he sees
Cuervo in a parade.
Yeah, so it's a big parade.
And he's got this like motorcycle gang riding behind him.
Right. And so Snake, and I actually did like this portion quite a bit, where Snake, it's more or less Western kind of with horses. He like knocks someone off of a motorcycle, and he starts like jumping from car to car and beating people up. And there's kind of a big shootout, and he gets on a motorcycle. He's zooming around on that and knocking people around. And eventually, Cuervo Jones takes matters into his own hands and kind of shoots him and knocks him off the bike or whatever. And so he's left behind, and Cuervo Jones like take care of that business over there.
Dude, and he is surrounded by like 5 guys, and they all got guns drawn on him, and he doesn't. Well, he was just knocked off the bike.
This part was stupid. This is when he just like convinces them to do.
Well, it's like a Western. I think it was weird too, because I didn't.
We got it, man. We got the clip.
Okay, good.
We got it, man. This is how you get around 5 guys confronting you with guns.
I'm gonna give you assholes a chance. What do you say we play a little Bangkok rules?
It's too quiet.
Nobody draws until this hits the ground. You ready? Draw.
There we go.
That's how you do it, man.
You get it.
You get confronted by 5 guys, and you're like, hold on, I'm going to give you guys a chance.
Right.
They're like, oh shit, this guy's tough.
And they do Bangkok
They just
rules.
go along with it.
And they get totally shut up, and he just walks away at that point. And he's trying to find, at this point, he still has to find Cuervo and kind of figure out where Utopia might be, the president's daughter. And so he's walking along. This is where he first meets Steve Buscemi, and he's playing kind of like the Hollywood stars guy, like who still exists in LA at this point, who's trying to sell like a tour of LA and where famous people are. And but again, Snake has like no interest in talking to the guy really at all.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. And so he just kind of gets dropped off in an area, and now we see these ambulances, quote unquote ambulances,
right,
that kind of look like the Ecto-1, and they roll out and they start kidnapping people, and Snake's back there with what the heck's her name?
Oh, I don't even remember this lady's name.
Yeah, but he's hiding in the bushes, and she's like, "Don't go out there."
I got it.
Naomi.
Is that the name? Her name is Naomi?
Meryl.
Oh, Meryl. Okay, good. Meryl Streep?
Mei Ling.
Oh, Mei Ling. I can't think of a famous person named Mei Ling. Oh, Meryl Streep. Oh. Well, now I'm confused. Was it Meryl Streep?
It's Meryl Mei Ling.
Oh. Snake.
Meryl Mei Ling Snake.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Got it.
Good.
And so anyways, the people in the ambulances, what they're actually doing is kidnapping people and taking them to the general surgeon of Beverly Hills, where he is performing plastic surgeries on all these people who've had so many plastic surgeries, and they need fresh body parts to stay looking fresh.
It's pretty crazy.
This is probably like the most insane part of the film.
God. Okay. So like I knew Bruce Campbell was in the movie, but I didn't know at all how he was going to be in the movie. So this was ridiculous.
He looked insane, man. But he probably didn't need any makeup for that chin, though. You know, his chin is so like prominent.
It's his moneymaker. Yeah, no. I don't know. Like there's some parts of this where I felt like it didn't really make a huge amount of sense with how LA functions at this point. Like, why are there still a bunch of people who are obsessed with plastic surgery when it's become just like a deportation prison? That seems kind of crazy. But that's what I mean. Like, it's a little on the nose, like satirical at that point. But like, I still enjoyed the way it looked and Bruce Campbell and how ridiculous it all was. Like, that was actually fine to me. But it does seem like it doesn't seem to make sense that they turn LA into like a deportation prison and it would just stay being LA, basically exactly the same, except like cartoon.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, so him and Taz Lima is her name, or Meryl May Ling, they end up getting out of this situation through a crazy turn of events.
Well,
Snake has like a blow dart.
Yeah, exactly.
Blow dart in his mouth and just like gets the Surgeon General with it, which is pretty cool. And they escape, and then she's like, oh, by the way, my boyfriend and I broke up today, so if you want,
right? Yeah. So she totally is like, I'm ready to bone, and I'm like, whoa, are we going to see some full penetration action right now? And the answer was yes, we did, and it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard you so excited.
Oh, great. So anyways, what really happens, sorry, I was lying, is that a gang comes by and just like completely kills her in like a second.
The Korean dragons, man.
Right. Yeah, she's even in the middle of a speech of kind of being like, this is freedom, like out there is not freedom. Like in here is actually freedom.
Pretty good. And then takes a bullet.
Right, and gets killed.
And then Map to the Stars Eddie comes and picks up Snake. He's like, dude, I'm saving your ass. He's like, I'm going to take you over to Cuervo.
Rolls up.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Like perfectly clean convertible.
Right.
I know. It's so good. And he doesn't really care about the firefight at all. He's like, whatever. And then he ends up drugging Snake because, Eddie works for Cuervo.
Right.
And then we get probably one of the greatest scenes. Actually, there's a lot of great scenes in this movie, but one of the most insane things.
It's right up there with the cat one. I almost did for my connection of like casting what ifs. I almost got like best worst basketball scenes in history to go with this one because this was
pretty good,
pretty nuts. What's your favorite basketball scene in cinematic history?
It's just got to be Space Jam, the whole movie.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty straightforward one. Anyone else got any ones?
I was going to say Space Jam.
Interesting. What about Catwoman? Anyone see that one?
With Halle Berry?
Oh, yeah. There's a big basketball scene in that one, and it is hilarious.
And then Big Polly's going to be mine.
Oh, that's a great one. That's actually is really funny. What about Big Mama's house? Big Mama totally dunks.
Missed that one, too.
That was pretty good, too.
Oh,
what about Juwanna Man? What about the whole movie Juwanna Man?
What about White Man Can't Jump?
Semi-pro.
Guys, are we going to have a basketball season?
What about Sixth Man? Yeah. You remember that one, Sixth Man, where it was like Angels in the outfield, but with like basketball?
Remember
Coach Carter?
Basketball, that's a good one.
Wow, there is a lot of basketball movies. Maybe we should have a season. What was that, season 10 basketball?
Season 2.
Season 2. Wow.
An extreme excursion back, just going right to basketball.
Maybe we should just do all sports, not just extreme sports.
I thought season 2 was skateboards.
Well, it's just extreme sports, which would include this movie, and we'll get to some of the extreme sports we do. I mean, we've already seen some surfing, but we're going to see more surfing, and we're going to see some other extreme sports going on.
Yes, we will. But anyways, he is taken to one of the Coliseums in L.A. I want to probably the L.A. Coliseum.
The Coliseum.
Or maybe the Hollywood Bowl.
No, it is the Coliseum.
Oh, okay. And people are literally fighting to the death, and he has walked out to a basketball court where we see a guy only score 6 points, and he gets gunned down.
Yeah. I'm just going to interject real quick. The Wikipedia page that goes through the synopsis of Escape from LA has no mention of the basketball game.
That's a travesty.
I mean, it's insulting.
If you enjoyed this movie, it's probably something you want to forget from it because this was not great.
You should probably go on to Wikipedia and edit it now.
Dude,
why
it was a pretty
why were they
major
playing
scene.
basketball though at the Los Angeles Coliseum? That's where USC plays football. Like, why would you be playing basketball?
Yeah,
out there?
they should have been at the Staples Center. That would have been.
Yeah, that would have been very recognizable and way more sensible.
It's probably because they were able to shoot there, right?
They didn't even play at the Staples Center back then, did they?
No, probably
It may
not.
not have. May not have been called the Staples Center. Yeah, I mean,
No.
it may not have existed.
Are
No,
we
they-
close? That's a good question.
They played it someplace else, guarantee you.
Okay.
I'll find
Words
it.
like
I'll let you know.
karma. It's just an excuse for giving up, if you ask me.
Anyways, basketball. And the point is that you have, what is it, like 20 seconds or 30 seconds to score either side of the court. You have to go back and forth between the baskets.
It was 10-second shot
Or
clock.
10 seconds, yeah, that's right. 10 seconds, that would make sense. So 10 seconds between each of the baskets to score. And if you don't get a perfect 10, then you get gunned down. And it's the idea is you get too tired.
If you miss,
and then
you get gunned
miss.
down.
Yeah.
Or if you don't get the ball off before the shot clock,
Right.
you get gunned down.
And no one's ever done it, which seems insane. Obviously, someone would have done this before. That seems stupid. There's no way the 10 points wouldn't have happened at some point. I also like
the
that they
entire
were like,
scene was completely irrelevant because he
Yeah.
went to shoot him anyways. Like it just didn't matter.
right, and then they also say
True.
like the 3-pointer. Talk about something that makes like is like super relevant now. Like, and 3-pointers are like terrible. I was like, whoa, it's like. Yeah, that's such a mid-90s way to like think about it. It's like, yeah, fuck the 3-point line, am I right? And everyone now is like, what? It's like that's what basketball's all about now.
Yeah. But anyways, Kurt Russell, a.k.a. Snake, is running all up and down this court, dude, shooting layups. But then as time's going on, he's getting a little tired, and he has to start taking some longer shots. So he's out past the 3.
He does like he does like a nice half-court one with a really good form. And then at the very end, super slow motion, slow it down. Cook. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. He's looking at it. He's looking at it for a full second. He's like, oh, shit. And then turns, heaves the ball, full court. That was Kurt Russell, by the way. That's in the trivia. Is like, he did all of the shots himself. So that full court shot, throws it, swish. And everyone's cheering.
Don't try to be a hero or anything.
Snake, snake, snake. Snake, 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 snake. And Cuervo's like, fuck this. I'm going to take him out.
Yeah, he tries to, but Snake like is like, holy shit, that guy's going to kill me. And he just like scales this fence like it ain't no thing and runs out into the parking
So the only way
lot.
I'd say that it wasn't irrelevant, because you say, as you say, like Cuervo was going to shoot him anyways, is A, everyone else didn't shoot him and they let him get away because they were all behind him now. They were like, oh, he deserves to live. Now he's a hero.
He's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Right.
Snake Plissken.
They actually raised his snakeskin jacket up to the rafters at Staples Center. They should. They should do that. You know what?
that number.
You know what? They should do that. Anyways, so what happens next? He runs away.
He causes a diversion. He blows up a car.
That's right.
And like all kinds of shit is going down. All of a sudden,
and there's like
he punches the shit out of Cuervo.
Right.
Takes the black box. He hops into the sewer and is going to get away. And Eddie's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta avenge my buddy Cuervo because I want him to be best friends with me." And Utopia, who's the president's daughter, she follows Snake because she's like, "This guy is pretty crazy. I kind of want to go back to the U.S." But
yep.
Eddie follows him down there, and he's like, "Yeah, gotcha!" And he shoots Snake like a
in the
dick.
leg. Yep,
right in the leg, man. And Snake falls into some kind of sewer waterfall.
He loses the box. Away. Yeah, he loses the black box. Gets swept away. Eddie's super excited. He grabs the box. He goes back up and is like, "Cuervo, I got it. I shot him. He's totally dead." Utopia's back. She was getting kidnapped, and she's like, "Yeah, I was getting kidnapped." And then Cuervo's like, "Are you sure he's dead?" And Eddie's like, "Yeah, I shot him. Don't worry about it."
It's like, dude, there was just a big earthquake and it totally collapsed the sewer, so he's totes dead. Don't
and he's
worry
like, yeah,
about
anyways, even if he's not dead, he would have been swept out down to like this area of the ocean or whatever. And he's like, well, if you know so well where he was swept down to, how about you go check it out? And Eddie's like, fuck, fine. I will. And jumps in his car and zooms away. Meanwhile, Snake, not dead, obviously. We knew that. Get out of here. He's sitting there. He's been washed up. And lo and behold, who's there?
His surfer buddy. He's like, bro, time to catch a wave. There was an earthquake.
This is the absolute most ridiculous scene.
It's time to get tubular, guys.
Agreed.
Anybody could have expected.
All right.
So anyways,
there's a
he's
lot
like,
of
I got a
absolutely
second.
ridiculous scenes in this movie.
Well, first of all, it's crazy because the surfer is like, I got a second board here, but also his car's he's letting his car just get swept away, which seems nuts.
I love that.
So anyways, he gets a second surfer. He's like, surfs up, time to get tubular, hang 10. What are some other surfing terms?
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, rad.
Just think of all the rocket power I used to watch.
Dropping it.
Woogity, slip on, slip off. Slippity slap, high fives, etc., right? All those things.
Swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that booty.
Right, exactly.
That's what they always used to say in Rocket Power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 50 points across the board, no-go zone, etc. Right. And so they hop on the boards. Snake. All right. So you're saying, wait, this is an extreme sports month or season. Snake's going to get swept off this board because he doesn't know extreme sports. Wrong. Snake knows extreme sports. He's a world-class surfer, and he starts surfing like a mofo. And he's surfing along. It looks like trash. I'm not going to lie. And he's surfing on this giant wave and looks over, and there is Steve Buscemi in his little Corvette or whatever, Eddie, looks over and is like, oh my God. And I was like, this is the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. Isn't it? Like, it's crazy.
It was so stupid. They just make eye contact.
Yeah, they're just like sitting there, and they're like,
imagine.
In my mind, they're like talking while he's doing it, just like so stupid. And then I think that's maybe the point, though. I feel like that's the point, is that it's kind of dumb. Because later it gets even dumber. But anyways, he jumps off of the board and onto the Corvette, and then gets into Eddie's car.
Well, after he like fist bumps the other surfer, right? Like they fist bump, and then he just hops off, like with his leg being shot during all this.
Yeah,
dude, it's Snake. Come
again. By the way, not mentioned on the Wikipedia page.
This scene?
Nah, nothing.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. This scene is important.
It's very important. Not only do we have extreme basketball playing, I'd call that an extreme sport. Then we got extreme sport surfing, neither mentioned.
Absolutely ridiculous, man.
I don't like it. And so anyways, he talks to Eddie, and he kind of convinces Eddie that he's got to do something, or
he's got to go visit he's got to visit Hershey.
He tells him, he convinces him to get on his side or whatever, and he's like, okay, I'll take you to Hershey. I'll take you to the other person I know.
Eddie.
Oh, that's right. So that's how he convinced him, with his fists.
Yeah.
And Eddie's like, okay, I'll take you to the other person, the other big leader in town. And it turns out to be Hershey, who is actually someone that Snake knows. Yes, not in the persona that this person now identifies as, but it was a former colleague of his in crime, which he did something that they were part of the Cleveland, did something in Cleveland and was left behind. So they kind of had an issue before revolving around this criminal activity in Cleveland. Now, this person was previously male and now identifying as female and played by Pam Grier, right? And they did a lowering of her voice, and I actually thought that was great. I thought she was great.
Super funny.
Yeah, it was real good, and I actually did like this portion quite a bit. Because he kept on trying to call her by the former name or whatever, and she's like, "Get out of here! This is who I am now. This is where I am. I rule this place. Fuck off." And he's trying to convince her to go and help him take out Cuervo. And she keeps on getting convinced. She's like, "We can't do that." And then Snake will say something, and she's like, "Oh, actually, yes, good." And then finally, eventually, she's like, "Well, what do we got to do?" And he's like, "I'm going to die in an hour, so all this has to be accomplished in an hour." And they turn to Eddie, who knows the town, and Eddie's like, "No way. you got 2.5 hours on the 5 at the least, given the condition that the streets are in. Very LA thing about like timing of getting from one place to another.
But they also let him know that the neurotoxin he's been injected with, it's fake. Eddie used to even be a salesman for this stuff.
It's like fake flu medicine or something.
They let him know
with the flu.
So they already knew it was fake?
They tell him right here, which is why them, I didn't understand. Yeah, apparently he doesn't. He's like, that's not good enough.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, because they kind of say like how it's a part of a bunch of hoaxes. Like it's not real.
Right.
But I think the idea is like they're kind of shitting on the government, but they mention something that's clearly real, that Snake knows is real about the government, and then the toxin as well. So he's just like thinking, oh, these bozos think all this stuff is fake, and the government's like a bunch of idiots, but in reality it's all real, and I've been infected with this real toxin. I think that's kind of the idea.
So anyways, on to another extreme sport.
Yeah, so anyways, one guy, like a guy who's sitting there is like, but what about death from above? And they get an idea. And that idea involves, what's the extreme sport?
Hang gliding.
Yes, in one of, I don't know how many times, I guess you'd say, what was the other big hang gliding movie? Harold and Kumar? Go to White Castle. That was a big hang gliding one. Yeah.
Oh, that was Escape from Guantanamo Bay, right? They're hang gliding and falling to...
No. That was the first one. They were hang gliding from the in Guantanamo Bay. I think they parachuted. In the first one, they hang glide from like the cliff down to the White Castle at the end.
Dude, not enough hang gliding movies.
I know. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that come to mind.
I'm sure it's a tag you can search.
Oh, well, I was gonna say 50 Shades of Grey, but I believe that's a glider. I believe that's glider.
Damn.
Yeah.
I can't think of any hang gliding movies.
Yeah.
I can't either.
Well, we can find them. I'm going to find more of
them. 55 movies on IMDb. Star Wars episode 6, Return of the Jedi. They do have hang gliders in that with the Ewoks. Yeah.
Oh, good call. They did. They hang glide around. They throw in like rocks at people.
Apparently, Wedding Crashers. Don't remember that.
I don't remember that one either.
Moonraker.
That's definitely possible for sure.
Rio. Escape from LA. Number 6 on the list.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you guys take it from there. Oh, another Ewoks, the Battle of Endor. So yeah, the Ewoks definitely.
Battle of Endor is a great movie. I used to watch that all the time as a kid.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, you're right, man. They got Harold and Kumar on here too.
They gotta. Anyway, so they get ready, hang glide away. It looks real dumb. And then it's not even before. On. So they head down to what's supposed to be like Disney or Universal Studios or something, but they weren't allowed to use that name. So it was funny because they were going there and like, are they seriously at that spot? And they were looking at it. I was like, I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Because they had used real places the whole time. It was like Beverly Hills and the Coliseum and going down to whatever and all these different spots. They're all real. Except in the end, they have to use like a fake place because the place said, no, you can't use the actual name.
Lame.
Yeah. So anyways, they fly in. Then from here, they start an attack on Cuervo. Cuervo's about to do the attack on the United States. So the whole plan is that he's got this doomsday device. He knows the world code as well if things go to shit. That's 666. That'll black out the entire world and basically send everyone back to the Stone Age. But he also knows the code to just shut down the United States. And the idea is that they actually have invading forces from Cuba and wherever. And they're going to invade Miami and take over the United States. And he's kind of going to rule. So he's going to shut down the United States if they don't just like give up now. And they decide not to, but in comes Snake on his hang glider with everyone else. And they're basically just like riding around on these hang gliders. It's actually kind of just funny. They're almost in like riding around in circles above everyone, where it looked like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like it actually looked like they were just on strings, like riding around, which is the case. It was actually
it reminded me of like a shitty dinosaur movie or something where like pterodactyls are attacking people and they're just hanging from strings.
Right. Or it would be like if you were at like the Disney World and you were at the Indiana Jones like ride and you saw people like ride. Obviously they were going way too slow to actually be gliding around. They were just like continually gliding even though there's no way they would have been able to stay afloat. And they were dropping bombs and doing all kinds of stuff from there. And everyone was shooting at them at the same time. and weren't hitting them ever, or their giant hang glider that they were using.
And dude, they are like one-handed hanging onto the hang glider and shooting guns at the other. It was pretty kick-ass, guys.
Yeah. So anyways, they jump off. They start beating up a whole bunch of people, trying to take out Cuervo. Even at this point, also, there's like a helicopter has arrived, and that was part of like the demands. Cuervo's demands is like to get a helicopter. And so they've taken over. They have this helicopter. They beat Snake and all his allies, beat everyone back. They're able to get into the helicopter and take off. And he needs to get back fast because he's about to die, according to his wristwatch. That tells him like he's got like a minute or whatever. They keep on shooting. They're flying away. Cuervo, who's basically at his last, wit's end or whatever, he pulls out a rocket launcher and shoots at the helicopter. Right?
It's second movie in a row we've seen an RPG shot right at a helicopter.
But there's that little scene there, right? Like where he lifts up the rocket launcher, Steve shoots him, he kneels over, it cuts to Steve's face, he like smirks, cuts back to him, and he smirks and lifts up the rocket and then launches it, right?
Right.
It was like,
and Steve is on the helicopter.
Right.
Stupid.
And then he jumps off. The RPG hits the helicopter, killing everyone in the back, but not disabling the helicopter. So Buscemi falls to the ground. Everyone's killed in the back. The only people alive now are Snake and Utopia. They're barely able to get the helicopter out of there. And they fly back out of LA. And he starts to have a plan. He's like, basically like, your dad wanted me to kill you, Utopia. Like the aim was to get this black box, but also to kill you because you're a traitor. So I'm going to kick you out of here. You jump out of the helicopter and run into the woods. And I'll just say that you died in the blast. And she's like, okay. And you see him secretly put a device into her pocket. And then she jumps out. She runs into the woods. And then the helicopter crashes. All of the army and the president arrive. And Snake is basically like, what is he, nowhere to be seen? But they like kind of catch up to him, right? And they find him. And they're like, yo, Snake, do you need to get like cured or whatever? And Snake's like, yeah, I need to get cured. And they're like, oh no, it's all fake. Don't worry about it.
And he's like, what the hell, bruh?
Like, it's just the flu. It's like not real. It's just a flu and it's nothing else.
And then at this time, this reminded me of Ace Ventura when they immediately find the daughter. It's like that guy that in Nature Calls. He's like, hey, Ace, they found me. No sweat. Don't beat yourself up. So they pull her out immediately and and
they're trying to be all smart again. Like the Keech is like, we know you just wanted us to think that like you had this device, but like fuck you. Obviously you didn't account for us catching the girl. And we're gonna take that device. And so screw you. And they give the device.
During this time, out of nowhere, like Cuba is mobilizing a bunch of like missiles or something. This, I mean, really came out of left field and are about to get to the
right. So this
seaboard,
is
the
invading force. So it was supposed to be that Cuervo would use the device to disable the U.S. and allow this invading force to get in. But because they had stopped it, now the invading force will kind of meet the full might of the United States. So presumably will be the revolution will be quelled. But they're also the president wants to take this force totally out and destroy the countries as well. So he takes this device and he's like, basically he's going live to the American people and is like, I'm going to take out these mofos. And he types in the code for Cuba and stuff, and out pops, instead of, destroying those places or destroying all the electronics in those places. We just hear Eddie talking about all the things you can see in LA. Uh-oh. Yep. Looks like Snake tricked them again.
Yeah, he did. And then, dude, the Keech is over there talking to him. They have a little good conversation. He's like, you're becoming quite predictable, my friend.
She didn't know that she had that remote unit in her pocket now, did she? I was wondering what kind of lame switch you try to pull this time, Plissken. You know, you're becoming very predictable.
Yeah, I guess so. You gotta smoke.
The United States is the no-smoking nation. No smoking, no drinking, no drugs, no women. Unless, of course, you're married. No guns, no foul language, no red meat.
Land of the free.
So good.
Yeah. And so anyways, they're like, Snake, give us the control, like you, and he's about to type in 666, which is going to destroy all of the United States. And they're like, fire, and they shoot him, and they just like shoot him a million times. But looks like something's come back around, because guess what he is? He's a hologram.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys didn't jump in. He was a hologram.
No.
Yeah, he's a hologram.
No, you fooled me again. I got me with a twist there.
Yeah, so he's a hologram. He's out somewhere else. He's got the remote, and they're like begging him now. They're like, please do not do this. Think about what you're doing. If you do this, the entire world and the United States and freedom will be gone. And Snake, being Snake, is like, fuck that. And puts in 666, shuts down all of the electronics in the world.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's it. That's the movie.
Yeah, and then he lights a cigarette, blows smoke out, looks directly in the camera, and goes, welcome to the human race.
Snake.
The end.
My name's Snake.
Well, that recap took forever.
I really did. I actually forget.
Episode.
It's been so long. It's been so long since it buzzed to tell us that we were going over. Wow, 53. Jesus Christ. Okay. Should we get into ratings?
That took way too long. Yeah, we need to get into some ratings.
All right, I'll go first. I thought this movie was pretty silly and a complete rehash of the first movie. It's very jarring to watch Escape from New York and then Escape from LA back to back because they are the same movie. Every beat, every single thing is exactly the same. The only time that they kind of play with that idea is with when in the end they kind of telling you about, oh, you're being so predictable, because they're kind of they're making a little bit of a joke about how it's just a repeat of the exact events of that first movie. So they kind of know what Snake's going to do, but then Snake keeps on twisting it around a little bit to kind of change it around a little bit. Even to the point where that first thing of like hijacking Air Force 3 and then doing the pod and launching it into LA, that's exactly what happens in the first one. There's a hijack of Air Force 1 and the president jumps in his pod and launches into New York City. It's just exactly the same movie in the end. Yeah, no, every single thing. The car that has a disco ball in the back, in the first one, it's a car with like chandeliers in the front. And it's the Duke, but then it's Cuervo. And everything is, and you have Eddie in this one, but you have the cabbie in the first one. And you have a girl that he meets who immediately gets killed by the crazies. And in this one, a girl that he meets who immediately gets killed by the gang. And so, it all basically lines up exactly the same, other than there's no surfing and no hang gliding in the first one.
Was there a basketball scene in number 1?
Not a basketball scene. Nope. And instead of a submarine, it's a glider. Oh, but there's a wrestling scene instead of the basketball scene. So there's basically this exact same thing. There's a Coliseum. They capture Snake, and he has to go against, in like a wrestling ring, a giant man, and he's able to beat him. And everyone's like, Snake, 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 Snake. Yeah, no, it's exactly the same movie. So that's the only thing.
Really?
It's like, oh yeah, and that makes me kind of. It's a reason why it got kind of middling reviews. Besides the fact that I don't know, they went much more towards it being a little bit of a comedy this time. In the first one, it's not a comedy all that much, but this one I went way more towards that. I'm not sure I necessarily liked it for that. I do think it's a fun movie. I think there's interesting things going on. I think the thing that it says about kind of like a reaction of someone like this, like the nihilistic attitude towards a autocratic society or whatever, I think those are some interesting things that are being said, and the ending's very interesting. But I don't think I can go much more beyond kind of halfway, just because it's so silly and kind of bad, and a lot of bad stuff in it, and just a rehashing of the first film. So I'm going to come in, and it might be high because I think you guys might come in a little lower. I'm going to come in at a 5.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll jump in. I'll keep it going. Jamie, you and I are on the same wavelength here. It didn't. This didn't take itself too seriously. It was ridiculous, over the top, and so just crazy. That it was enjoyable at times. I've not seen Escape from New York. I did see Escape from LA. It was something that I was telling the guys before we got on the podcast. In high school, I had friends who loved Snake Plissken and the Escape movies, and we always would talk about, We Thought You Died in Cleveland, because that was what they kept bringing up like 4 or 5 different times in this movie. Alluding to that there was an escape from Cleveland basically out there, and just kind of reinforcing. I think it was like them being tongue in cheek here. Like, this is what Snake Plissken does. It's always the same thing. Always gets away by the skin of his teeth, and he's going to do it again. So bad and silly that it was enjoyable and charming in some ways. Couldn't believe that this was made in 96. It looked hella old, looked like it was from the 80s. I was positive it was an 80s movie. Looked ridiculous. Loved the Bruce Campbell scene. I thought it was pretty creative. It didn't make much sense, I think, as Jamie alluded to in the recap, but was creative. Got to see Huang from Always Sunny in there. A guy that we thought we saw when we saw Peter Lorre in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Well, he actually was in a submarine movie. He was in Escape from LA as the Igor type character. I'm going to be in the middle of the road too. I was planning before Jamie even gave his rating. I was going to give it a 5 as well. Put me down for 5.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Oh, it's Snake.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. So I'm kind of in line with you guys. It definitely didn't take itself too seriously. I like the first one, maybe just because it's more nostalgia now. Like, I saw it when I was a kid. I just thought, Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell looked like a badass, and they really kept, the same look of him, but just some of the stuff was just so over the top. The basketball scene, I was just sitting there like, what the hell am I even watching right now? And then the hang gliders. I mean, at that point, I just was just on for the ride. I like just the familiar faces, though. I like that. I like that Steve Buscemi was in it. That was good. Who was the surfer guy, Jamie?
Peter Fonda.
What's his name?
Peter Fonda.
Yeah. Even though he was absolutely terrible, it just added to it. But for the sake of time, I'll just run this in at a 4. 4.
Oh, 4. Okay. Alex, you want to go?
Yeah. I had never watched the first movie, and I'd never even heard of this one until we watched it. I did not like it at all. I found myself getting bored through it, watching other stuff, whether it be YouTube or just browsing through social media sites the entire time. Dialogue was terrible. They definitely had a lot of production value in it, though I could tell, and that kind of saved them a little bit from possibly me giving the lowest score of a movie I'd watched yet. One question that hasn't been answered yet, I don't know, but this movie definitely did not need a submarine, not realistic at all, and it was very tough to watch it because the CGI was god-awful. I'm going to come in and give it a 1.2.
Wow, low.
Yeah, right. I did not enjoy it at all.
Dang. All right. Well, no, thank you for answering that, because it is, as I mentioned, does this need a sub? What do you guys think before I go?
I actually think it does a little bit. It could have got away with a glider again, I think, probably, either from the air or from the water. I did kind of like that this time they go from the water to get.
I just needed a device to get you on the island, so.
Yeah. So I kind of like that it had that. It would have been kind of funny if it was a full scale submarine. That would have been funnier, but it's a little mini sub. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to jump in here, guys. I'm going to be singing a little different tune than most of you guys. I really enjoyed this movie. I don't know why. I thought the stuff looked bad, ish. I don't know. Like, it also had this certain style that really appealed to me. I'm not sure why. I really love Kurt Russell as Snake. I thought his character is just really, really fun. Just a total badass.
He's definitely the most positive from this movie. I think he's much, actually, I think it's a much more well-developed character in this one than in the first one.
Yeah, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. The action scenes, the surfing, the hang gliding, dude, the basketball scene, all that shit was so ridiculous, so over the top. Especially, we went super long on the recap, but with the basketball scene, we didn't even really mention how much slow motion there was in that, which was incredible. But we just watched, as we'd mentioned last week, one of the greatest action movie stars of all time, Jackie Chan, kicking ass, and then to go to this and see the fight scenes, you're not getting anywhere close to the same type of stuff. And did this need a sub? Absolutely, it needed a sub because we needed to watch it. I had never seen it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I'm not going to rate this above Jackie Chan's First Strike, because the action was not as good. I gave that a 6. I'm going to give this a 5.99.
Nice.
Ooh.
All right.
Should I get into some trivia?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to be quick. So this film was in development for over 10 years. At one point, a script was commissioned in 1987, being written by screenwriter Coleman Luck, with Dino De Laurentiis' company producing. Carpenter later described the script as too light and too campy. So imagine what that one would have been. This one was the less light and less campy version of the story. In time, eventually Carpenter and Kurt Russell actually got together to write the screenplay together, along with Deborah Hill, his longtime collaborator. And he said that basically Russell's persistence was the reason why the film was eventually made. Snake Plissken was a character he loved and wanted to play again. And this is actually Kurt Russell's only writing credit in his entire career. Is this film. And Carpenter said he wrote the entire end of the film, apparently.
Huh.
This is the fifth, and so far the final collaboration between Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. They worked together on a TV movie, first for a TV movie called Elvis, and then Escape from New York in 1981, and then The Thing in 1982, and then Big Trouble in Little China in 1986. And he was paid $10 million to appear in this film.
Huh.
And then Carpenter said about this movie, Escape from LA is better than the first movie, 10 times better. It's got more to it. It's more mature. It's got a lot more to it. I think some people don't like it because they felt it was a remake, not a sequel. I suppose it's the old question of whether you like Rio Bravo or El Dorado better. They're essentially the same movie. They both had their strengths and weaknesses. I don't know. You never know why a movie's going to make it or not. People didn't want to see Escape this time, but they really didn't want to see The Thing. You just wait. You got to give it a little while. People will say, you know what? What was wrong with me? So,
well, I feel like that's a lot of his movies, right?
Yeah, kind of.
They didn't do great, and then a lot of people like them.
Well, it's interesting. I've had time to stew on it. What was wrong with me, guys? I'm going to give this a 9.
And there we go.
Clutch. All right, changing your rating right now.
It is interesting that even he acknowledged that they said, it felt like a remake, not a sequel. And that's exactly how I felt. I was watching, I was just like, Jesus, he wasn't even trying to hide. And maybe that was kind of the point, that he was kind of remaking, and the idea was forever, that the idea is circular, that always it's like, someone like Snake kind of fighting against autocratic, American society a little bit. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. A video game for the movie was planned, but eventually canceled, probably because it was a giant bomb. Kurt Russell practiced playing basketball between scenes. He wanted to make sure all his shots were legitimate. He made all the shots purely on his own talent, even the full court one. That's according to IMDb. That's directly from their trivia. So,
dude,
they're making it clear. It's his talent.
That's awesome.
The film is known for having rather poorly produced CGI. It was due to the fact that the employees at the visual effects house, Buena Vista Visual Effects, had never dealt with computer graphics before and didn't really know how to achieve them properly. So that's why that.
Not like they didn't have the budget for it.
Right, I know. The budget for this was over $60 million, I think. Like $70 million in 1996. It's pretty good. Solid amount.
All right, but 10 of it went to Kurt.
Right, yeah. So John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars, made in 2001, and one of the Hall of Fame members of the Bad Movie Twins, badmovietwins.com. We inducted into the Hall of Fame. It is ridiculous. Even more ridiculous than this, if you can believe. And it was originally intended to be the third Snake Plissken film. And it was entitled Escape from Mars. But when Escape from LA did not do well at the box office, the screenplay was rewritten, and the character of Desolation Williams took Plissken's place as the lead. It was played by Ice Cube.
Really?
Yep. All right. Jeff Bridges was originally considered to play Snake Plissken, Escape from New York, but wasn't interested and turned it down, and it went to his good friend Kurt Russell. He later worked with John Carpenter on Starman in 1984, and he got an Oscar nomination for that. Then it says Kate Hudson auditioned for the role of Utopia. Now, this must have been in 1996 when it actually came into production, because it also said that Kurt Russell wanted his wife, Goldie Hawn, not his wife, sorry, his girlfriend, Goldie Hawn, to play the role of Utopia. But that seems like crazy. I don't know if IMDb had their facts wrong or something, but like she's like 6 years older than he is. So even if it had been produced back when it was originally supposed to be, she would have been like 45 years old or something. Which seems a little old for the Utopia character.
For that character, yeah.
Seems a little crazy. But he was writing the script, so who knows? Maybe you would just would have written it differently.
You can do whatever you want.
And then, okay, this was rather poorly received at the box office. It grossed only $25 million from about 2,300 theaters. In fact, in 1996, there was only 6 other films released to more theaters that grossed less. So over 2,300 theaters, grossing less than 25 million. So what actors from those other box office bombs would have done well here? So what about Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was in Maximum Risk, that only grossed $14 million from more theaters?
Well, it's obvious he would be a Snake Plissken character.
He'd be our Snake. Yeah. He's got the bun. He's definitely got the buns for it. He's got the splits for days. So that's good.
He could have been like a Cuervo Jones character, though.
I do like that as a casting choice. That you have him be.
Make him the bad guy.
Yeah. What about Elijah Wood? He was in Flipper. That was released to more theaters, but only grossed $20 million.
So he would have been a child during this?
I guess. Elijah Wood's kind of ageless.
Oh,
I mean, this is what, 96? We're only like, what, 5 years away from Lord of the Rings.
Right. So he's playing he could have been the Hobbit, for sure, in this movie.
I'm thinking Map to the Stars, Eddie.
Yeah, I was thinking, yep.
Eddie? It would have been definitely an interesting role for him to take, considering he was releasing Flipper at the same time.
He could have been like an Igor
could have done that, like
child.
a kid driving around, showing L.A. and
That actually would have been
off.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about Iggy Pop? He was in The Crow, City of Angels, $18 million to more theaters. Iggy Pop.
What's your favorite movie? The Crow.
What?
Peter Fonda's character.
Oh, Iggy Pop. That's a good one, actually. That probably would have worked a lot better than Peter Fonda, which just seems like such a bizarre casting choice for that role.
Yeah, Iggy Pop's like skinny as a rail. I think he'd look like a surfer and got the long hair and everything.
Oh, here's a good one for Eddie. What about Bill Murray? He was in Larger Than Life, released to more theaters, $8 million at the box office.
Bill Murray is obviously Map to the Stars. Eddie.
Yeah, that would have been a good role for him. Maybe Elijah Wood would have been the president. How about that?
What if Bill? Yeah. What if Bill Murray was Hershey?
Oh, interesting. What about Bruce Willis? He was in Last Man Standing, released to more theaters, $18 million.
Man.
Dude, but Bruce can't do the hair, man, like Kurt Russell can.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an understatement.
Agreed.
What about Ed Harris? So, in 1996, Ed Harris famously reprised his role in Keach and the Gang 2. You Can't Escape the Keach, right? So, like, I had talked a bunch about Keach and the Gang in previous episodes. I think this is my 3rd episode mentioning Keach and the Gang. This was the sequel. So, Stacy Keach obviously reprised his role as his own father. Ed Harris, now he played Stacy Keach again, but also his entire lovable family, who were all morbidly obese, right? So it was basically a bunch of zany characters, Ed Harris in fat person makeup. It's great. Hilarious. Everyone's like, he farts, he sings, he greases up that body, he lets it all hang out, and prepare for the biggest comedy of the year. It's Keach and the Gang 2. You Can't Escape the Keach. It was released to 4,000 theaters, grossed $13.
Wow.
Yeah. That's it. Just
one,
me.
One person saw it?
Well, just me, mostly. I just went twice.
Okay.
It was back in... You got to think of like $1996. I went twice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Ed Harris. Ed Harris? Actually, Ed Harris, if you were thinking of the Peter Fonda version of the thing,
Ed
Harris would make sense as the surfer. But you probably are thinking of him in the Stacy Keach role.
Gosh.
I don't like him as the president. It's too... I like my Ed Harris.
What about Ed Harris as the Surgeon General?
Now you're kind of like throwing makeup onto what is like a perfectly sculpted face. Like I don't like
True.
that. You got to make sure his face is perfectly visible. And look at Keach. Keach also allows him to... The Keach role allows him to get a ponytail going.
Oh, that would be pretty good.
Pretty good. And I don't know how many times do you think Ed Harris has had a ponytail in movies?
13.
More than we think.
Wow. Yeah, no. I think that's season 11, ponytail movies.
All right. Let's keep going.
Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
So, appropriately, Kurt Russell is in a little film called Fate of the Furious, which may be important for this year's cycle.
It might be.
Just keep that in mind. And so I love moving through Fate because then I get to use Jason Statham, and he was in one of my least favorite films of all time, Mechanic Resurrection, which also has a submarine, but also Tommy Lee Jones. And Tommy Lee Jones is in Under Siege, and I've used that a million times for Phantom Zone.
So you're good, man.
Oh, yeah. It's easy breezy from there.
And just had the
All right,
Stath,
let's keep this.
who's obviously in
What's
the
that?
Meg. You can go back from the Meg, too.
I think I may have used Under Siege for the Meg.
Okay.
Or Mechanic Resurrection. I can't remember. Something like that.
There you go, man. There you go.
All right. I'm out.
It's world wide. All right, I'm going to keep things quick here because I got a whole 2 hours of sleep last night, and we are already over an hour, 10 minutes on into this thing. So in this movie, we did not have a sub for super long. I think total it was maybe 3 minutes on screen. And that's including like getting into it and working the controls and all that type of stuff. But it was super badass, super fast. And Snake was able to shoot out of the water and land this thing on like a section of freeway. Now, I decided what kind of sub can shoot out like this? What could go this fast? Wouldn't that be fun? So have you guys all seen online, they have those killer whale looking submarine boats?
Yeah, like sharks. They kind of look like a shark or, like you said, a whale. They bounce out of the water and dive back in.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I decided to do one of those, created by Sea Breacher, sold by Hammacher Schlemmer, which is some kind of like crazy sales company, all these goofy things based out of Illinois. So that was also kind of odd that they're selling these things in Illinois. But we're going to do the killer whale one. For length, it is 17.25 feet long, 3.5 feet wide, not very wide, and 4.75 feet tall. For the engine, it has a 255 horsepower supercharged engine. And that engine, while on the surface, you can cruise along at 50 miles an hour. While you're submerged, you can go 25.
Wow, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, the sub weighs 1,450 pounds.
Oh, I could lift that.
Yeah, easily.
At least all of us together, we could definitely lift that sub.
Probably wouldn't even throw any of our backs out. No. And you can, like I mentioned, you can shoot up out of the water with this thing. It's pretty impressive. You can jump up to 16 feet.
Wow.
Which would, I mean, think about when you hit the water, man. It'd be pretty hardcore.
I think your insides will turn to jelly, like all of your...
Yeah. The inside is pretty cool. Like the cockpit, it's got like controls that look like levers that you're pulling to move it, and you also have some foot pedals that help control it. It does include a 4-point racing harness, so it'll keep you locked in. It has a 14-gallon gas tank, and it even has fins on it like a killer whale would, so it can dive and roll easier. And this is the thing that I didn't know, because I'd seen these things. I thought, oh my gosh, these are so cool. Like, wouldn't that be fun? The biggest limiting factor, I think, for me, would I ever come into the money to get one of these, is that the snorkel only allows you to dive 5 feet. That's it. So you're barely under the surface.
And so how much did it cost? Did you already mention how much it costs?
Not yet. That's the end.
Because I gotta say, if it's a lot of money, I want to go in more than 5 feet.
Well, it's a decent chunk of money. And in there's like a promotional video we'll post a link to. They say that if you dive under the 5 feet, the pressure will pop your ears, so you're going to want to come back up. And the promo video is also awesome. It's just this thing whipping around a lake and just metal music the whole time. But if you want to own one of these, it will set you back $100,000.
I needed to go at least 100 feet.
All right, start the Kickstarter.
Wait, what's the Kickstarter? Just give. I want to buy this submersible.
Yeah, we review it for the fans.
I see. Okay, yeah, we want to review the submersible on our podcast.
Yeah,
nice.
We can do that. That'd be good.
I'm going to type in rental. I'm going to do a rental. Let's see if we can rent one.
We're probably pretty close to already buying a couple of them for the ad revenues we're making off this.
Like crazy, yeah. Sure. Alex, you got anything for us tonight?
I did, but it's not really news. But if you want to play the news stuff, go for it.
Well, what the hell?
What?
I don't know.
Okay,
That file says file cannot be found.
Oh, all right, well, we'll just go on without it. That's fine.
I got something for you, Alex.
All right. All right.
I'm liking it.
There you go.
Okay. So, depending on when you guys listen to this, you may or may not have seen, but there's like a little meme going around where it's a school cafeteria that's kind of cartoon-like, and it's got a whole bunch of tables at it, and different people are sitting at it, and you got to pick who you'd want to sit there and eat with or whatever. So I kind of decided that'd be kind of fun for us to do it in a sub version. So what I've done is we've got 6 different subs with different actors on it from movies that we have watched. And I want you guys to say which table you'd sit at and which one you wouldn't sit at. You don't have to go into why, because I know we're already burning through a lot of time here. So sub number 1, it would be the submersible from Life Aquatic. I know the boat was called Belafonte, but I don't know if the submersible had a name for it. But in that submersible, you can sit with Dolph Lundgren, Don Knotts, Bon Jovi, and they are serving chicken parm subs with mustard on it.
Oh,
holy shit!
Oh, dude.
I see. At first, I was
better ones than that.
I thought you were going to say the cast of, and I was going to be like, you know what? I'm going to pass on the cast of Life Aquatic. I feel like there's like a lot of drama in that movie, and it was pretty like sad at that point, like someone had died, and I was going to be like, no thanks. But Dolph Lundgren and chicken parm subs with mustard. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's yeah. Oh yeah. So all right. Sub number 2 would be the sub from Below. I believe that was called USS Silver Sides. On that sub, you can sit with Kelsey Grammer, Dean Cain, and Mike Myers, and they are serving a tuna sub with jalapenos.
Interesting.
Oh, gosh,
sub number 3,
like
we'll do the Typhoon class sub, which is similar to Hunt for Red October. On board, you have Alan Arkin, Gerard Butler, and Krista Allen, and they are serving just a regular old turkey club.
See, what's funny is you have like the best, submarine that I definitely want to get onto, and then the rest of it is like, I'm not so sure about that.
Sub number 4 is the gold member sub. On board has Harrison Ford, Bill Murray, Jürgen Prochnow, the guy from Das Boot, and I probably just butchered that name, and they are serving the Philly cheesesteak.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Put me on that one.
Okay. Sub number 5, the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. On there you have Roger Moore, Brenda Black, and Julie Anderson. And they are serving none other than the meatball sub. Last but not least, the sub number 6. We're just going to go ahead and just use the U571. On board, you got Burt Lancaster, Gene Hackman, and then none other but Ed Harris. And for their sub, you can only get a 6-inch vegetable sub.
Oh, man. Alex, none of them had David Duchovny?
Nope.
Wow. Put me on the one that I said, the gold member one.
There are a ton of people that I didn't add to this list that could have easily been on. I could have had 20 subs.
Yeah, Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider. Where's Rob
Jeff
Schneider?
Jeff Goldblum. Come on.
I know. There's
Mine's
a lot
gold
of people.
member sub.
I'm gonna be joining Zach on that gold member sub.
Okay.
Because I think it's a basically all-star cast right there to join up with, and Philly cheesesteak, solid sub. Even though it's not my favorite, I feel like you got spacious room, hanging with some pretty cool people, eating a delicious sub. I don't have to get like real cramped in that Life Aquatic submersible with Dolph Lundgren, who's like 6'10".
Oh yeah,
7'3", maybe 7'8", maybe. I don't know. He's huge. So
yeah, I'd want to get Harrison Ford drunk.
Good idea. He's probably getting high on his own. So
I would have to say tuna sub, probably top 3 sub for me, and jalapenos my favorite, probably my favorite food. Put them together, you got me there. Plus, we're talking about Mike Myers, Kelsey Grammer, and Dean Cain, I think you said. And is this the Below submarine as well?
Yes, correct.
And I famously gave Below the highest rating of anybody on the podcast. That's where I'm at.
It's a grand. You got the Grand Man on there. That's pretty good.
Dude, you had me at Don Knotts, sub number 1.
All right. Is there any of them you would not want to be on? Like absolutely never ever think about going on.
I'm not really keen on that vegetable submarine sandwich.
Who's the crew with the vegetable subs?
Ed Harris is on there. Ed Harris is there.
Yep. Ed Harris, Burt Lancaster, and Gene Hackman.
Ed Harris is he's greasing himself up and he's going out those torpedo tubes and heading straight for, let's be honest, he's heading over to our submarine and getting some Philly cheesesteak with us.
There'd be no shortage of oil on those veggie subs.
That's for sure.
He's going to town on that oil and getting out of that torpedo tube.
Alex, that was really creative. I like that. Did you think that all yourself?
Heck no. As I said at the beginning, there's a little meme going around the internet. That's where I took it from.
How did you say you got the assortment? Did you just roll a D20 or some shit?
No, I should have done that. I just kind of went through, scrolled up and down on the submersion page to see where I would stop at randomly. So then I would pick the movie and then I'd scroll up and down again for the sub and then pick an actor from each movie or whatever.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Now, are you done?
That's all I got. Yep.
That was great. Man. I loved it. All right, guys. Good night.
All right. See ya.
I think that's about it.
It's not. 2-3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give it to me.
All right, guys. So before the podcast earlier today, I think it was around noon, I texted the group. I said, I'm going to have about a 20 to 30 minute countdown. I said, plan accordingly. And
we did not, yeah. Of
course, you guys spend an hour and 15 minutes on the recap. So here we go. Buckle up. I've put about 90 hours of work into this. This is my magnum opus of countdowns. In fact, we're going to be counting up tonight. This is extremely special to me. I ain't joking. I want full discussion. I know it's late. I know Kyle's like, I only slept 2 hours. I'm a new dad.
It wasn't even the new dad part. It was the old dad part. The dog was coughing.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Old coughing dog. All right, guys.
Is that what you call your penis?
It's going to be like a 3-hour
dog
episode.
Was coughing real hard last night.
Guys, I hope we can still have fun with this. So, in the news, I'm not a big Marvel Comic Universe guy, but I don't know if you guys have heard of Kevin Feige. But he is the president of Marvel Enterprises. Kevin Feige. and he unveiled Phase 4. So I guess he made this big announcement of all the movies that Marvel's working on, the different heroes that they're going to be highlighting, yada, 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 and they're going to do a whole nother, Infinity War type deal, how comic books work.
Right, yeah. It's like a new Thor and a new Doctor Strange, like some newer films as well. Whatever.
I'm going to peel back the curtain for all our Submersion listeners. Submersion's going to have to end someday. And we've been talking.
What?
Yeah, I know. Submersion has to end, but Mac East Studios goes on. I'm going to reveal Phase 2 through 69. These are every time. These are every time we have promised a future season on the podcast.
Jeez.
And there's some, it's participation, it's participatory. That's why I'm saying that we're peeling back the curtain. We're going to vote tonight and hammer it out because there's some confusion on what we're doing season 2. There's some confusion on season 3, 4.
I feel like season 2 is pretty clear.
I don't know.
It is not. I know exactly what it is.
I think it's up in the air a little bit, Jamie. So we're going to figure it out tonight. So season 1, submarine movies. We're in the thick of it. We got, 2021 probably conclusion date at this point. If you kind of stretch it out. So we're going to need to be ready to roll with season 2. You have promised us skate movies, extreme sports movies, train movies.
No, season 2 train movies? Get out of here.
Train movies? Hell yeah.
Point Break movies.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Geostorm.
Wait, just Geostorm?
Season 2 Geostorm was promised, I think, back in episode 2. And just tonight, basketball movies was added to season 2. So what are we doing?
Season 2 for basketball? Oh no, I said I added that to the extreme sports. Let's just to be clear.
I said
you maybe
season
said
2
it,
basketball movies.
I say Trains. Trains is legit.
Trains is a good subgenre of film, and so I don't disagree with that idea.
Any movie with the train.
And I want to hear, guys, if there's anything you're excited about on any of these categories. Train movies, you're going to have like what? Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
They got the new series coming out.
Unstoppable.
Goldeneye. Bam.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. XXII, State of the Union. The whole climax is on like the president's train.
What's that one movie? 3, 2, 1 Pell Man or something?
Oh, yeah, that's taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. I feel like that's a subway. Does that count? Isn't that a subway train?
I think it counts.
Source Code. You got a train in there.
That's true. A lot of train in Source Code.
There's an Indiana Jones movie that's got a train in it.
That's true. He falls into some snakes.
Yes.
Oh, dude, think about the westerns we get to watch with trains.
All right.
That's right. Once upon a time in the West, and then Wild Wild West. There's a whole train in that thing.
Oh, that is. Oh, yeah.
310 to Yuma. 310 to Yuma is a good one.
Good one. Yeah.
What about trams? Like, does this include anything like that?
What about those things where you like pump the thing up and down and you're doing it like more manual, but you're just on the train?
Like an old mine cart or something?
Yeah, like
that's
so.
Brother, where art thou?
What about the General?
Jinx.
The General was with what's his name? Buster Keaton. It's like one of the most famous movies of all time. All about a train.
All right.
The titular general.
Okay, I think I'm going to vote train. I'm just going to say it. Train.
I'm going to
run train through that season.
I'm still going to go extreme sports because I love extreme sports movies. So I'm sorry, guys.
So it's 2-1. Kyle, swing vote.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Seriously, Kyle? It's train.
Dude, train movies do sound pretty great. I don't know. Train sounds really great.
That's the right answer.
All right, I'm going to go train movies as well. We're going to have to relegate extreme sports. We've been talking it up all these days, but
I think
extreme
we've
sports
talked
is
about
in relegation.
that one the most.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talked about it a lot.
But
then we just vote it down.
I'm going to start a rival podcast, just extreme sports.
You do that, Jamie. Bring it on. Train movies going to blow you away.
Mac West Studios.
Mac West.
All right, we got to keep it moving a little bit here. Season 3, guys. Season on the Rocks, the Rock movies.
Nice.
But
God,
there's some contention here, or dinosaur movies.
Oh, dinosaur movies. Come on.
Oh,
Rock.
dude.
Are you kidding me? Dinosaur movies has so many good things in it. Carnosaur, all the Jurassic Park films, Sound of Thunder, that one where Ryan Reynolds' brain gets transplanted into a dinosaur. Real movie.
Rock.
I'm gonna go dinosaur movies on this. I think I'm going to get burnt out on watching The Rock.
Remember that movie where like there was tiny little dinosaurs? They were real tiny.
Oh yeah,
Prehysteria.
Dinosaurs in the closet. I don't know.
Indian in the cupboard. Are there any dinosaurs in there?
Dinosaurs in the cupboard. That's it.
The Land Before Time.
I'm going to vote dinosaurs.
Yeah, same here, man. Dinosaurs.
Yes. Dinosaur movies.
All right, I'm done after season 2.
When Brom was like, get a little burnout on The Rock, it was like, yeah, if we watched like 50 Rock films, we'd be like, what are we doing?
I could not get burnout on it.
Zach,
remember?
We're
in
talking
all
like
the
Dwayne
old movies, he does the eyebrow.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about we just watched The Rock over and over again, starring Nick Cage.
Okay. Hey, that came out in '96.
All right.
Damn it!
What
are you jotting these down so we
I'm
know
jotting
what
them down.
we're doing?
Okay,
yep. Great.
Season 1 submarine movies, Season 2 train movies, Season 3 dinosaur movies. Relegating season on the rocks. We have some blank spots in here, and we'll fill these in.
Extreme Sports is filling in that first empty spot.
It's coming up. Season 4, though, there's some contention here. Fire movies, nun movies. Suck This.
Yeah, Nun. Yeah, the Nun movies.
Nun movies. Suck This. Vacuum movies. And
I do remember talking about that. Yeah, there are some vacuum movies. Yeah.
Yeah, the Brave Little Toaster.
And crane movies.
Oh, yes. All right.
Okay, there's a movie with a crane and The Rock in it, so I'll go crane.
Fire movies, nun movies, Suck This, or crane movies.
I think I'm going to have to go nun movies. I'm going to be the outlier here. I got to get some nuns. Let's do it.
I'm voting Suck This.
I'm going to vote. We're going to have the audience tie break this one. I'm going to go nun movies as well. I watched that clip of Sister Act last week.
Sister Act, yeah.
I'm kind of amped for some nun movies.
There's some good ones out there.
So we'll have to leave that
Sound
one.
of Music, those, yeah.
Well,
Saving Silverman.
Kyle, you were the one who voted outside the norm. You tie break this one. Nun movies or crane movies?
We can leave that one up to the audience.
This movies.
Get out of here.
Or they could side with me, and then we're at a push.
Okay.
They can't side with you. It's a tiebreaker. You're not tied.
If the audience pushes, then who's the tiebreaker? Let's agree on that.
We will write.
Wait, what's the one that no one voted for?
We'll write
Fire
the
movies.
governor of Wyoming.
So if it's a push, then it reverts to fire movies, and no one's happy. How about that?
Okay, so we're just going to be miserable that season.
Okay, all right.
I'll have to write that one down. That one's not as easy to just jot down here.
And here we are, fucking fire movies episode.
Thanks,
30.
fans.
Yeah.
There's
really
fire
liking
in
it.
a ton of movies.
Backdraft. Season would never
Backdraft, yeah. Just backdraft all the time, all day, every day.
We're just all 60 years old.
Season 5.
Fire movie.
Season 5, there is a challenge here as well. Bowling movies or Full Metal Jacket Trivia Night.
Okay.
That's just one night.
Let me jump in here real quick. I'm going to vote bowling, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, bowling movie as well, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Same here, bowling.
Bowling for sure.
Bowling movies wins, so that means we have to relegate Full Metal Jacket Trivia Night.
Okay.
We'll find a spot for it. Season 6, no challengers here. This is Dick Cast, Moby Dick movies.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, I think, probably.
A season full of Dick. Season 7 is our first blank spot, so we will have to relegate, or take rather, one of our relegated movies and play seasons and put it in here. We can do that at a later date.
The Extreme Sports.
We want to put Extreme Sports in there?
Yeah,
So
I think
decided.
we've definitely talked about that the most.
You think how many years we've been doing Submersion already when we finally get around to season 7?
Yeah. And Kyle, by that time, we might even get Red Snow.
Oh my God, we've been trying. That's the biggest holdup, honestly, on that.
Season 8, guys. I'm excited for this one. Very excited. Thingcast. Season dedicated to John Carpenter's The Thing.
Appropriate. Yeah, we just watched
The
Thing.
Mm-hmm. Season 9.
I just sent you that board game, man. I was trying. The Thing has a board game.
Yeah, I played it. My brother has it.
It's on eBay, but it's so stupid expensive to get it.
Yeah, because it was a limited edition. So my brother was on the Kickstarter for it, and so he got a copy.
Oh.
This was, I thought, made in the 80s. Or is this a new one?
No. This is a new one.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Season 9 is uncontested. Fictional Greek period pieces.
Really?
Oh, so like Clash of the Titans and stuff?
And
We
300.
literally
Okay, I'm back.
said that stuff? Those
Yeah,
words
that
came out of our mouths?
Doesn't sound like us at all.
That one was me. This is one of the few that I added to this list. That was when I was making all of the Matthew McConaughey movies we needed. And I created 900, and it was an army of basically Spartan McConaugheys, and I said that would be great for Season 9 fictional Greek period pieces.
Very
What
good.
are we up to?
Season 9.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Season 10. We got a challenge here. Boxing movies or basketball movies?
Oh, wow. Why don't we combine it? Why don't we just do both?
Movies that have both boxing and basketball in it?
No, that they have either or, and, I guess.
No way, man. We probably got a lot of blank spots to fill up.
Oh, good call. Yeah, that's true. So we got to choose one of them. I say basketball. Basketball is much better.
All right. I'm
Basketball.
going to go basketball as well. We'll move boxing. I feel like there's probably already a boxing movie podcast.
Don't give anyone an idea.
Yeah, we'll just be a little late to the party. It's fine.
Yeah, we could be a little late to the party. Season 11, this was mentioned tonight. New edition, ponytail movies.
Nice. I'm happy with that one. That's where major motion picture stars have ponytails.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Steven Seagal.
True.
Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah.
Man buns.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Season 12, we got a scrap to break up here between Soap Opera Digest Awards podcast and Friday the 13th cast.
Oh. Well, Friday the 13th cast almost certainly exists. Soap Opera Digest cast, I don't think does. So we'd be the first on the scene.
We could always move Friday the 13th cast from season 12 to season 13.
Good call.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
All right, we'll give the win to Soap Opera Digest Awards.
I'm glad you're keeping track of this.
I am. It's important because we will definitely get there in
Do you have
2042.
written down what episodes these came from?
I do not. Actually,
okay.
I do. It's in a different document, though. It's got a huge mess of stuff and notes and stuff, though. So
I bet.
I'd have to organize it. Season 14 is the Cure for Insomnia podcast. Jamie proposed that we break down the 87-hour-long art film we discussed into 87 episodes.
That's a good one, actually. I like that one. I think that's unique and actually probably deserves its own podcast, yes.
Season 15 is a blank. We'll fill that in at some point, keeping it moving here. Season 16 is Koala Cast. Koala movies.
Oh, that was from last week, wasn't it?
It was pretty recent. Yeah, I think it was the first.
Yeah, it was.
You know what? I don't even think that one's out for the listeners yet.
Oh. So well,
I guess when they're listening to this
by the time
one,
they
it
hear
will be
this
out.
one, it will be. Yeah.
Season 17 is a blank. Season 18, Civil War movies.
Oh, that's fun. I like Civil War movies.
That would be good.
We could learn a whole bunch. I'd have a whole section where it'd be like, what did we learn from this movie?
You know what?
Thing
That
we
wouldn't
learned
be
from the
fun.
last movie.
What? I'd have to reintegrate myself as the brain rather than the ointment. Because it will not be topical. The Civil War is not topical.
No, it is not. We are going to jump all the way to season 30 before we hit another mention here. But Jamie promised Sister Act cast.
Oh, good one.
So it's going to be a
Yeah.
revisit
So wait,
of those
now we
nun
should
movies.
not. You know what?
The
We should
nuns,
break. Break that tie with the nuns. We got it over here with Sister Act cast.
Okay, I'll give it to Crane movies.
Crane movies for that one.
All right.
Crane movies it is. And lastly, season 69, racist movies.
That's a good one. It's the Soul Man over and over again.
That's fantastic.
Well, that and I did get White Comanche on VHS.
Oh, White Comanche. That's a good one.
I got
think
that
it was
movie
just-
for 11 cents.
What was the movie? I was just looking at a movie where I was like, this movie's super racist. I'm forgetting it now. That's too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is phase 2 through 69.
Wow.
We're going to be
Incredible, man.
Good job, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Over 90 hours. Holy smokes, dude.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It was worth it. It was fun. That was fun chatting with you guys about this.
That's how long this episode we've been recording? 90 hours?
That's what it feels like, right?
All right, Zach. Put us out of our misery.
Oh, my God. Okay. Zac Facts, it's Zac Facts. When you're going down, get some Zac Facts when you're going down.
Snake.
Nice.
My name's Snake.
Wow.
This is Snake.
Yeah.
It's Snake. Liquid Snake.
Nice.
Deep Throat.
Oh.
That Deep Throat's a real enigma. The informant from the Watergate scandal.
All right. So we were on Zac Facts for this long episode. If you're still listening,
Oh, they're here.
Okay,
They're long gone.
Prepare for this good stuff. Okay. First, Zac Fact number 1: Bruce Campbell's wife, Ida, loved his makeup so much they turned it into a mask that she wears frequently.
Oh, Jesus.
So he just walks out, sees her in the, like, wherever in the house, and she's like, what the fuck is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Fact number 2. Steve Buscemi had an idea to switch characters with Kurt Russell midway through the film, but he never told anyone.
Oh, interesting. So he just kind of thought it?
Yeah.
He just had the idea to do it.
He didn't act on it, though.
Like, oh, man. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Lethal Weapon 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Why don't you go suck an egg?
Fact number 3. Kurt Russell spent a week learning to surf, even though the director told him he didn't need to.
I believe
Way to go,
man.
Yeah.
And
Based
then,
on those basketball scenes and all that?
and then Kurt Russell spent a week learning to hang glide, even though he didn't need to. However, Kurt Russell, he refused to learn how to see out of one eye, so the eye patch was see-through.
That is actually a true fact, by the way. Did you use that because it was real?
Shit. Is it?
Yeah, he had his eye patch was see-through because it would give him headaches if you had to look at one eye the whole time.
Oh, he finally got one that's real.
Damn it. What do they say about monkeys in Shakespeare or something? If monkeys type long enough,
if you give a monkey a typewriter, it will
Typewriter.
eventually type a Shakespearean play in an infinite period of time.
Congratulations, Zach. You just typed Shakespeare.
Yep.
Totally careless.
That was totally careless.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
Okay. And the last Zac fact is Escape from LA is the highest grossing film titled Escape from LA.
Wow. Until they remake it. Do you know they're actually remaking Escape from New York?
Really?
Yeah, the guy who made... Yeah.
And for all the listeners out there, I was playing Metal Gear Solid soundboard all night because Solid Snake is based on Snake Plissken.
I finally got it when the guy said Liquid Snake. I was like, oh.
That was like 2 minutes ago.
Exactly. I didn't say anything. I just thought it.
Here's my little trivia to end this. In Metal Gear Solid 2, Solid Snake goes by the name Iroquois Plissken, with Iroquois meaning snake, Snake Plissken, and there it is.
There it is.
All right.
There it is. Good job, Zach. Good job, guys.
Thanks, man.
You hung in there.
We good, Kyle?
All right. Should we start the recap of Escape from New York?
Dude, I think we should.
Thanks for listening to Submersion. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating on iTunes.